Welcome to Live Oral Presentation 3, Advancement in Educational Practice and Global Pedagogical Model. I'm Hui Lim from Sindobong Middle School, and I'm honored to be your moderator for this session. We have four presentations exploring vital educational effects and innovative paradigms. Please note that each speaker will have 50 minutes, including the Q&A. I kindly ask our speakers to be mindful of our time. Let's begin with our first presentation. I'm going to share the presentation first. 화면 보이시죠? Uh, since I'm also the first presenter, please allow me to briefly introduce my research. My presentation is titled Online Curriculum Design of Engineering Introduction to Enhance Convergence Problem Solving in Overseas Korean High Schools. Uh, this work was conducted under the valuable guidance of my advisor, Professor Baek Sung-hye from Korea National University of Education. To put it simply, our goal was to figure out how to provide truly high quality hands-on STEM education when our students are scattered all over the world. We believe we found a viable solution. Let's dive into the rationale for two main challenges that led to this work. The first challenge is quite unique. Institutional prerequisites. Our students aren't aren't just taking random courses. They are strictly adhering to Korean national curriculum standards. Why? Because some of them must prepare for the Korean University Special Admission track. This track heavily demands specific documented evidence, like achievement scores and detailed curricular records. Here's where the geographical problem hits. The elective courses they need are typically offered through a single centralized course offering system. This creates a major tension. This geographical strength inadvertently reinforce the limitation of a passive lecture style pedagogy. Essentially, distance defaulted the teaching method to the least effective style for engineering. That brings us to the second challenge, overcoming the limitation of lecture style instruction. The engineering introduction course is designed to foster convergent problem-solving competency. You simply cannot teach this passively. It's an active skill. Therefore, collaborative project activities are absolutely imperative. Our mission then was clear. Build a digital framework that not only provides the course credits, but also guarantee active, collaborative skill developments. This is our answer. 51 session, fully digital, collaborative PBL framework. The core learning happened through two major projects. First, 12 session school architectural problem solving project focused on foundational skills of design thinking. Second, the 18 session real world engineering challenge. This was the deep dive where students had to collaboratively devise complex solutions for everyday inconveniences, truly putting their convergence skill to the test. Let's look at the heart of the collaboration, our digital toolkit. We ensured every tool served a specific pedagogical function. For discussion and ideation, we relied on Zoom breakout rooms and Padlet Sandbox, which acted as a shared visual digital whiteboard. This was crucial for moving beyond simple text chat. And for visualizing ideas, Students were required to use professional tools and like Tinkercad and SketchUp for 3D modeling. They physically built their concepts in the virtual space. And finally, every step, every idea, and every revision was meticulously documented in individual Google Sites portfolio. This provided the necessary evidence for the student records. Our assessment strategy was built on three pillars: process, outcome, and feedback. We evaluated the collaborative process and documentation via the final portfolio. The outcome was measured by the practicality and originality of their final solutions. Crucially, we incorporated immediate feedback through observation and presentations. This prevented the passive learning gap so common in online courses. There is portfolio deliverables, the result of students' work. There and in final project portfolio, it's including personal introduction and academic background, and engineering focus, and career development plans, and two projects: school architectural problem solving and real world engineering challenge portfolio. Um, I'm going to show you some. Can you see the portfolio? It's in Korean, but there is some menus as introduction, herself, and portfolios. I'm gonna share the link of this presentation so you can see what if you want on chat. Okay, then beyond the I'm sorry. Now let's talk about the results. The quantitative data is quite compelling. You can see that every single student in the program achieved grade A, 100% success rate. The average score was an exceptional 96.7 out of 100. This confirms that moving to an active project-based model did not lower academic standards. It clearly optimized performance and ensured every participant reached the highest achievement level. Beyond the grades, the true impact is in the students' reflections. They tell us that our deeper goals were achieved. They realize the necessity of interdisciplinary synthesis over isolated knowledge. They also gain a heightened sensitivity to spot real world problems. Most importantly, they learned that effective engineering requires not just technical skill, but the indispensable components of engineering ethics. This wasn't something we just lectured about. They recognized that they recognized its necessity through the project. Uh, Let me wrap up with our key takeaway and its implication. Our biggest finding is the ultimate proof of concept. Physical distance is no barrier to high quality project based learning. We successfully refuted the common skepticism about remote collaborative STEM education. Furthermore, this framework offers both scalability and sustainability. It is a robust model applicable to global K-12 online education, extending far beyond the immediate needs of the Korean system. Finally, this research highlights the critical need for learning experiences that focus on genuine competency development, not simply checking a box for course completion. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I truly appreciate your interest in our work, and I'm now happy to answer any question you may have. May have. Any questions? Oh, okay. Due to our strict schedule, please feel free to reach out to me via email for further comments. Okay, now I'd like to introduce our second distinguished speaker, teacher Min Ji Jung from Hanliu Elementary School. Is that in Paju, right?
Pardon?
Is that in Paju, Hanliu Elementary School, right?
No, it's in Dongtan.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes. No, it's
Okay.
okay.
Then teacher Jung, please share your screen and begin your presentation.
Thank you. I will first share my screen. Can you also hear me while I'm presenting the presentation? Okay, perfect. Just a second. Good evening. I thought there will be some other people who are from other time zone, but probably it's good evening for all. And it's a pleasure to meet you all at ICAS 2025. My name is Minji Jang, a primary school teacher in Korea. Yes, and I'm a primary school teacher. I am not sure why I am designated to the secondary school part, but I hope this presentation to be interesting to you, all of you. After teaching a few years, I earned master's degree in educational sciences at Vrije Universiteit Brussels and worked on several international educational projects, and then came back to teacher's life. So today I'd like to share how those experiences shape the way I create creative learning ecosystems in my classroom, that ecosystems built on collaboration, project-based learning, and global local connection. This is table of contents. The conference theme, Ecosystems and Environments for Creative Learning, asks an important question. How can we design environments where creativity naturally grows, like life inside an ecosystem? I tried to answer that question through my presentation as a catalyst who sincerely has interest in interdisciplinary and STEAM education. To find that answer, I will first share my background experiences, and this shows my journey I had in Brussels. During my master's studies at VUB, I learned from educators who viewed education itself as a form of community action. Our professors guided us in exploring how innovation and change can be effectively implemented in education while constantly emphasizing the role of community. Through this approach, I had numerous opportunities to debate and take action on pressing social issues. They believed innovation begins when people work together for shared social goals, a belief that shaped everything I later did as a teacher. One memorable experience was Walk the Peace Talk, a project born during the Russia-Ukraine war. A classmate, he just wanted to walk from Belgium to Ukraine border to raise awareness for students whose education had collapsed. And with support from Teachers Without Borders, we actually turned that idea into a collective action for peace and education. Through contacting NGOs and organizing his routes and his speeches, I learned how empathy can grow into real community movement. The third one, with the PNV Foundation, which is an insurance company devoted to social responsibility, I helped bridge students' voices and corporate decision-making. At the youth forum that I attended, students realized that their opinions could shape real social change, proof that belonging to a community empowers creativity and civic motivation. Finally, at European SchoolNet, I worked on international STEM education projects, designing MOOCs, supporting the STEM school label, and moderating conferences. What struck me the most was their unity. Within EU countries, they were not in the same country or they used the same language, but still, educators across Europe deciding missions together, sharing progress, and celebrating success as one learning community. It showed me that collaboration isn't just efficient, it's the heart of sustainable innovation. Probably all of you now guess what my answer is to the primary question. Community. I believe community-based learning is a driving force to powerful STEAM education. Is this really the key to building environments where creativity naturally grows? Well, educational research also suggests that it is. Learning takes place through social interaction. Ideas are created and refined in community, not in isolation. It was expanded by the concept of communities of practice, describing how people learn through participation, shared meaning, and collective reflection. Also in Michael Fullan's work on educational change, collaboration within professional learning communities is what turns innovation into sustainable practice. In STEM and competence-based education, community acts as the ecosystem that links students, teachers, and real-world context. When learners feel they belong, they take intellectual risks, share ideas more freely, and creativity emerges naturally. So rather than asking how we teach creativity, we might ask, how do we design communities where creativity can grow together? Luckily, since I'm a primary school teacher, I could design my own integrated curriculum to build community in my classroom. In Korean primary schools, each teacher serves as a homeroom teacher. I know it differs from country to country, and teaching nearly every subject to one class as a teacher. This gives teachers the flexibility to design integrated project if that meets national achievement standards while nurturing creativity and community values. With its dynamic, I could use time to implement my own projects. So from now on, I will give you 2 case studies that helped me build a community where my classroom worked as a creative learning ecosystem. Project Mondays and student-led volunteering. I planned these Project Mondays with 6th graders this year. In grade 6, the national curriculum contains these achievement standards. In Korean language, express their thoughts and feelings in various ways through speaking and writing. In moral education, understand and respect others' emotions in moral situations. In arts, appreciate and express ideas through diverse art forms. So, this Project Mondays, a space for emotional connection, creative expression, and reflection. This is how it worked. Before diving into academic subjects, we start the week by sharing feelings, reading stories, and expressing emotions through writing or discussion in any form. For students entering adolescence, since they are 6th graders, this time helps them recognize and articulate their emotional changes, strengthening self-awareness, empathy, and community spirit. At first, I guided the topics Of course, teachers guided topics, but as semester went on, students began to initiate their own ideas, like circle activities or small concerts. This is the picture of the small concert he's having in the corner of the classroom. Or when they wanted a specific discussion themes, they asked me to held a discussion. Watching them take ownership and lead the class reminded me of the beauty of shared learning, a true classroom community in action. Now I want to help them share that sense of belonging beyond our classroom walls. So what I planned is for the Project Mondays in November, we will collaborate with DW Akademie, a public broadcaster in Germany, to produce student-led podcasts, giving students a chance to express their voices on social issues that matter to them. I hope that before graduation, they will experience what I once saw in Belgium, that learning gains meaning through participation, dialogue, and shared purpose, and that creativity grows naturally when learners feel they belong. So if you'd like to hear my students' podcast stories, please feel free to contact me after this session. Now I will introduce you the second project that I implemented. The curriculum includes a unit on service and volunteering. After taught the 4 stages of service by reading books and having lectures, I thought it would be a great idea to initiate some projects. So I connected this unit with the school's official volunteer hours so they could turn learning into real experience. Students identified what our school community truly needed. Some proposed plogging, which means cleaning and jogging together. And they explained that they want the school members to study in a clean environment and raise awareness for climate crisis. Actually, we had a class about climate change in the science class, but I didn't anticipate students coming up with this great idea. And the other group of students suggested a recycling flea market. We all know that we call it Anabada in Korea, and they wanted to donate. There was a long discussion where to donate, but since the time limits, long story short, students decided to donate to Child Care Center. I integrated these ideas across subjects, so I used science, physical education, art, and Korean, so every student could participate through their own strength. It was a pure surprise because I never thought they will propose something for someone in outer circle of their close community. Communal sense of belonging, however, made them care others, even social matters. Not to mention that I was surprised that they suggested various ideas and narrowed it down. Their eyes, they were so shiny when they were being creative. Through these projects and more, such as VR traffic safety education or entrepreneurship project with emoji designing project, I had to take it out since of the time limit, but I have seen what happens when learning becomes truly community-centered. Students didn't just learn what to do, they learned who they are one to another, that they are with each other. They developed empathy, communication, and shared responsibility, competencies that Korea national curriculum identifies as essential for 21st century learners. Research also supports that what I witnessed in practice. Studies have shown that when students learn through authentic community experiences, they gain more empathy and sense of belonging, developing stronger civic engagement and perseverance. Collaboration and communication naturally became the ecosystem of our classroom, sustaining creativity and shared responsibility. In this sense, Community is not just where learning happens, it's how learning happens. In the end, I built my classroom as a creative ecosystem grounded in community. Amid the academic frameworks and research that you propose, and what I truly wanted to share was more the real experiences my students and I have lived together, moments when learning became connection and creativity emerged through belonging. Through the power of interdisciplinary learning, I have witnessed how a shared community can awaken creativity in every moment. Thank you so much for listening. And if you'd really like to continue this conversation or hear my students' podcast stories later on, please feel free to reach out to me after this session. Thank you. Do you have any
Thank you.
questions? Any questions will be welcomed.
No question. If don't mind, I have some little question.
Yes.
On sixth grade, there is a subject arts. It's
Mhm.
not divided to music and arts.
Oh, music and art. We have music
Or
as a subject and art as a subject.
like fine arts and drawing arts, right?
Art can be anything, like you can
Um,
just like, I don't know, enjoying the picture can be art as well. Like there are a lot of other activities that students can join.
okay. Thank you. Okay. Any question for us? Okay, then. Thank you, Teacher Jung, for
Thank
sharing
you.
this inspirational journey. Your paper powerfully illustrate how great pedagogical insights can be practically and creatively localized into replicable, student-centered ecosystems within the constraint of an everyday classroom. It was a real experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce our third distinguished speaker, student Suyeon Bang from Dongjak High School. Uh, I was in Dongjak High School. It was 2017. Bang Suyeon, please share your screen and begin your presentation, please.
Yeah. Pleasure to meet you, everyone. My name is Suyeon Bang, and today I'm going to talk about what we can learn from Lee Tae-seok leadership and how his spirit can inspire youth education in today's world. I'm a high school student from South Korea, and I belong to a UN NGO working on global youth participation. I've done volunteer work in South Sudan, joined a global leadership school in Sweden, and have been deeply involved in youth councils and educational projects. So yes, I've had quite an unusual high school life, not just exam, but a bit of diplomacy and global. Here's a roadmap for today's talk. I will start by showing the current challenges in Korea, compare Korea and Sweden's education, analyze the costs, and finally propose a solution inspired by Lee Tae-seok leadership. And I will also share my own story connected to his spirit. South Korea has become a global spotlight through its incredible economic growth and the spread of the Korean way. Korea's GDP, imports, and exports are increasing every year. And Korea is called an economic powerhouse. K-pop, K-dramas, K-beauty, even K-BBQ. From BTS to Parasite, our culture is everywhere. But behind the global success, something is quietly missing. Despite our economic success, Korea ranks among the lowest in life satisfaction in the OECD. And critically, suicide is the #1 cause of death among teenagers. Experts say this comes from our intense competition, lack of emotional support, and a society that measures success too narrowly. As a Korean student myself, I've even seen this. My classmates often say, I'm not studying for myself, but to survive. That's not education, that's exhaustion. So I began to wonder, can education itself be the key to solving this problem? To answer that, I looked at another country, Sweden. Why Sweden? Because both are advanced economies, yet when it comes to happiness and youth well-being, the two countries are like day and night. While Korea focuses on achievement and exams, Sweden focuses on autonomy, equality, and life-centered education. In Sweden, students are not told to win the race, they are taught to enjoy the run. And that difference makes all the difference. Here's a survey comparing Korean and Swedish high school students. When asked about stress, most Korean students scored 10 out of 10 total stress. Meanwhile, Swedish students' answers were spread more evenly. That means stress is normalized in Korea but managed in Sweden. Another survey shows that Korean students strongly feel stress harms their mental health, while Swedish students showed less extreme responses. It's not that Sweden has no stress, they just have better support system to deal with it. So why this huge gap? Through my analysis, I found three major reasons. Number one, limited socio-political participation. Number two, lack of diverse formative experiences. Number three, insufficient formation of sound values during adolescence. And honestly, I've seen all three in my school life. In Sweden, young people are encouraged to discuss politics, take part in social movements, and express opinions freely. In Korea, only 7.3% of youth have participated in such activities. Students are busy preparing for exams, not society. They can write a perfect essay on democracy, but few have experienced it. So it's all connected. Less participation leads to fewer experiences, which leads to weaker values and finally unhappier youth. So what's the solution? I proposed leadership education based on real-life educational models, and among them, the most inspiring case, Lee Tae-suk leadership. John Lee Tae-suk was a Korean educator, doctor, and priest who devoted his life to children in war-torn South Sudan. He taught them not only math and science, but hope. He believed leadership starts with love and service, not power. And his legacy continues to shape education models around the world today. Let's take a short look at his story, a man who gave everything to educate others.
가장 보잘것없는 이 얘기 해준 것이 바로 예수님이 얘기 해준 것이 같다는 그런, 그게 사실 하나의 성경 구절이었지만 제 마음속에 항상 간직하고 있었어요. 그래서
am down and oh, my soul is weary. When troubles come and my heart burning deep, then I expect the time till you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You lift me up. I am strong.
Little's life shows us that leadership can cross our borders, race, culture, even war. More than 50 of his students in South Sudan later became doctors, and through the Little's Foundation, his legacy now spreads across Korea, Ukraine, Sweden, and maybe even to you and me. It's not a theory, it's a way of life. Love and service, wisdom, action, inclusion. It means leading with heart before title, or simply leading by being human. Then, let's find out the contents and achievements. The foundation continues his vision. It's even recognized as a UN NGO. They are operating leadership schools, scholarships, and global volunteering. So, what has LITESC leadership achieved? Number one, it has inspired former courses, even Korea National University of Education teach it now. Number two, it has changed individual students who joined programs in South Sudan or Sweden, continues volunteer projects on their own. Number three, its influence keeps spreading. Now, let me connect this to my own story. My own experience is part of this student's story. So this isn't just theory for me, it's something I've lived. His leadership didn't end with him, it continues through young people like us.
You raise me up. Yeah.
When I volunteered in South Sudan, I met children who have never held a musical instrument before, but when I gave them one, their face lit up brighter than any smartphone screen I've ever seen. Later in Sweden, at the Global Leadership School, I met youth from war-torn country Ukraine, and we cried and hugged despite all our difference. That's when I realized real leadership begins when empathy becomes action. And personally, his story helped me find my dream to become the first Korean ambassador to South Sudan. Lee Tae-seok leadership is not just history, it's a model. It shows that education grounded in empathy and service can shape global citizens who lead with compassion and wisdom. Imagine if every school taught students how to care, not just how to compete. So here's my conclusion. Education based on empathy can nurture leaders who builds peace beyond borders. Because when one person learns to love, the world learns to change. True leadership is not about changing the whole world, but about changing one life and inspiring others to do the same. That's exactly what Lee Tae-seok did, and maybe what we can all do. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to continue this conversation, here's my contact. And remember, education with empathy can change not just students, but the future. Thank you.
Thank you for your great experiences. And there is Jin Sung-koo from video, right? Jin Sung-koo, you're, I mean, Jin Sung-koo, he was on video, your presentation, right? He's on this
Right.
breakout room right now. So yeah, okay. Thank you for your great experiences. Then there was deeply insightful analysis on youth life satisfaction and great experiences. Thank you for sharing. Okay, any question for her?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sure.
Since I was really sad seeing the satisfaction in life score in Korea, it was really bad. And I also agree that it's because of the like scoring system and really you need to compete and this is really heavy on them. And since you are a high school student and you experience this beauty of giving service and volunteer, but not all of students can experience these kind of things. So I was wondering, how can we implement, in your opinion, like what you experienced is really beautiful. So how can we get that benefits to all of the Korean students with the leadership? Or what do you think is the most poisonous thing in your high school
Mm,
life?
yeah, I think many high school students are important to the entrance system. And then I think leadership education or service in to insert in entrance examination system. Yeah, I think it's good for education and leadership. Yeah, I think.
So in your opinion, leadership education can help students who are suffering.
Yeah,
Mm,
thank
thank you.
you.
More question? Any question? Okay, then. When I was young, Lee Tae-seok inspired me to become a teacher, and you inspired me again. Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to introduce our less distinguished speaker, visiting Professor Min Jung Han from University of Seoul. Professor Han, please share your screen and begin your presentation, please.
Yes. Can you hear me clearly? Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here today at the 2025 International Conference on the Advanced of STEAM. My name is Min Jung Han, a visiting professor at the University of Seoul.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. So, there's no presentation on your share.
Sorry.
Please try again, please.
Yes. Wait a moment.
Yes, it works. Thank you.
It's okay? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. My name is Min Jung Han, a visiting professor at the University of Seoul. The title of my presentation is Innovation Strategy for Secondary Education in Response to Changing Educational Paradigm. Education today is undergoing a period of deep transformation. Traditional schooling focused on memorization, standardization, and exams no longer prepare students for the future. We live in an era where technology, globalization, and artificial intelligence reshape how we think of and how we live. Students must not only learn knowledge, but also learn how to adapt, create, and connect. Secondary education bridges childhood and adulthood. It must help students become capable, creative, and compassionate individuals. The purpose of my research is to explore how secondary education can transform to meet these new demands. I used Charles Reed Butler's Mapping Education Innovation model, which classifies educational innovation into 4 types: improvement, supplement, reinvention, and transformation. This framework helps us understand how education evolves from improving existing systems to fundamentally rethinking the purpose of schooling. In Korea, secondary education has evolved through distinct stages. In the 1950s and 60s, it focused on producing disciplined workers for industrial development. In the 1980s and 90s, issues like school violence and classroom collapse raised questions about the meaning of schooling. In the 2000s and beyond, the rise of digital native students created both new opportunity and new challenges. Throughout these decades, education gradually shifted from control to creativity, from uniformity to diversity, and from schooling to learning. Let me briefly explain the 4 types of innovation. Improvement focuses on reforming existing systems. Supplements expand learning through community and partnership. Reinvention redesign the school itself, introducing project-based and interdisciplinary learning. Transformation break the boundary between school and society. Learning becomes a living ecosystem connecting all learners. Innovation, therefore, is not a single leap, but a continuous journey of evaluation. From the study, I identified 5 key strategies for secondary education innovation. First, shifted to learner-connected education. Teachers guide students own their learning. Second, redesign curriculum for collaborative problem solving. Third, adopt competence-based assessment to prepare for an unpredictable future. Fourth, ensure digital equity and access for all learners. Fifth, build sustainable and inclusive education systems that reflect environmental and social responsibility. These 5 directions together form a holistic roadmap toward meaningful transformation. I also compared global trends such as the OECD Learning Compass 2030 and UNESCO Futures of Education 2050. Both emphasize transformative competencies, the ability to create new value and take responsibility for the common good. However, innovation must be context-sensitive. I must blend global inspiration with local relevance, respecting cultural and social realities. To conclude, innovation in secondary education means reimagining learning to make it more human and connected. We must prepare students not only for jobs, but for life as compassionate and responsible citizens. Our mission as educators is to bridge global insight with local reality and to ensure every learner can grow as a capable, caring member of society. Learn, connect, inspire beyond boundaries. Thank you. If you have any questions, please post them in this chat room, please.
Any question for her? Okay, then. Okay. Thank you, Professor Han, for this comprehensive and much needed analysis. Your work effectively used global framework to map the Korean secondary system limitation and provides a powerful multi-dimensional roadmap for a fundamental shift in educational values. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you have any questions later, please feel free to send them to the email shared in the chat room. I'll be happy to respond. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you all. That was an exceptionally insightful session on curriculum innovation and global local adaptation in education. I extend my deepest thanks to all our presenter and to all the participants. So we must now conclude this session. Please immediately return to the main plenary room for the roundtable discussion. Use the same original main conference room link you used for the keynote speech. The main session will begin in just a few minutes. I think in 15 minutes. So thank you again. This session is closed. See you in the main room. Thank you.
Thank you.